also personally say thank you, Jane, in the midst of all the craziness that you're doing by heading up the most busiest chapter here in Los Angeles. Thank you so much for
It is
coming
my
out here
pleasure.
today.
Love doing things like this, so thank you for having me.
I want to just start a little bit about, we talk a lot of the students that I've had here as well, that everyone has a journey. Okay, we all start somewhere and end up where we are, and a lot of times it's not always necessarily we want to do one thing, but until we do it, it might not be where we end up going, or we end up taking on different opportunities. So I wanted to hear a little bit about your journey, because I find it very interesting that my lovely friend here, as beautiful and gorgeous as she is, she's also a stunt performer by trade.
And I always wasn't like that.
But that's what I want to know. It's like, where was that aha moment that, hey, you know what, I want to be a female stunt performer? So how did this journey start for you?
Well, I was the youngest of 9 with 5 older brothers, so needless to say, I was a tomboy and I knew how to take a licking. But anyways, let's go to the beginning. I attended the University of San Diego studying business.
Okay.
And from there I got married and I had 2 kids and I was a businesswoman. And we had a helicopter company that we did a lot of shows like Airwolf and Tour Duty, and I learned how to fly a helicopter, and you know, and it was just kind of ran the business, had my kids, you know, and just worked out every morning, you know. And we were on location in Hawaii, and it got a call at 3 o'clock in the morning, and the co-pilot got sick. So they're like, Ron Schwer, the producer, just goes, Janie, hey, you want to get your SAG card? I'm like, hey, yeah, why not? So I was flying co-pilot in a Huey 205 on tour duty. That's how I got my card. Then discovered that, you know, and a friend of mine was also flying on China Beach. So I worked a little bit on that. Discovered that actresses do not like being around aircraft. I don't have a problem with that at all. So hanging out of them, hanging out of doors, sitting on skids, you know, whatever. And then we got into the car commercial, you know, because we were a helicopter company, and discovered that the pilots don't get residuals, but the drivers do. So we would negotiate a deal that, okay, we'll give you this, but you have to use this driver. So I drove car commercials for really pretty much the first 4 years of my career. And it was great. It was like, if you know anything about commercials, they're great. I mean, and thank goodness we just ratified our new contract to make them great again. Yes. 96.42% approved. So, and then I've throughout the years just learned more and more and more, and ended up getting divorced, and got a call for this amazing stunt that nobody else would do on a horrible movie. Absolutely horrible movie.
But it was an amazing stunt.
But it was a great stunt, and no one else would say yes. And me being me, so I go, yeah, I'll do it. Just like, so it was on the top of a 65-story building, and it was a 650-foot descender drop. And it was a 3-screamer, which means when they dropped you, it's like, So, but the most wonderful part of the whole entire stunt, because it was awesome, you guys, because I became known for doing high work. I don't mind, I'm not afraid of heights. But I met my current husband, Kurt Lott, who's one of the best stunt coordinators in the business.
He's here.
And he's here with me today.
Where are you?
And,
Can't see where you are. You're
yeah,
there.
he's over there, and that was August 27th. August 27th, 1995. I fell for him that day, and I've
Literally, right? Literally.
But what can I say, right? So yeah. So then Kurt and I was working a lot. I worked on a show called VIP, doubling one of the leads for 3 years. I was doing, you know, he taught me how to rig. He's one of, I'm sorry, I'm biased, but the best rigger in the business, one of the top 5. And if you want to find out more about what we really do, go to our website. We have a company, HollywoodStuntworks.com. There's a lot of fun video on there that you can kind of see more so of what we do. And then we got married, and we had a baby. And it came to the point, you know, we traveled around as much as he could, but when our son started school, it was like, okay, who's staying home? And I'm like, well, me being a 40-plus stunt woman, like, I think your chances of furthering the career is a little bit better than mine. So then I, being an active person, decided that, oh, this isn't going to work. So I started union service. So that's
But
how
you're still working. And
yeah, I'm still working. I'm still
working.
working because our son now is a junior in high school, so he's independent. But throughout it, you know, but the work that we used to do was going on away on locations, which were gone for a long time, and it was disruptive. And I have 3 other children also, 4 grandchildren.
Can never believe it.
Yeah, so being a grandparent's the best for anybody out there that is. You totally agree. So, but yeah, so then now, gosh, about 16 years ago is when I started serving on committees. I ran for the national board, and then.
And you are. So besides being the LA chapter for the Screen Actors Guild, she's also the national secretary.
Yes.
For the national chapter.
Right, so so I'm the national secretary.
So she's busy.
Yeah, I'm the national secretary treasurer.
Protecting everybody.
There's 160,000 members globally in the union, so I'm the national treasurer for all of them. And then I am the president for the Los Angeles local, and we have 80,000 members here.
The busiest.
Yeah, so, you know, and so that's kind of, now here I am sitting with all of you sharing just how ridiculous my life is.
But there's so many wonderful things that because I'm also very active with the chapter, as Jane knows, and there's so many wonderful things that I can't wait to get into today that literally impact every single one of you in this room, which is what makes this really exciting.
Yes, it's very exciting.
One thing that I do want to share, which you guys will not find anywhere else, is that Missy right here and her wonderful counterpart are also working on Avatar 2. Ooh, see, we heard it already, okay? There's some little bits of info that we can share that we were talking about that I think might be privy, because we were film students, so, you know, we're going to keep it in the bubble.
Well, here's some fun facts that I can share with you without having to kill you.
All right.
Basically, James Cameron is intense, and he's one of the most brilliant filmmakers in, I think, the history of the business. My husband, Kurt Lott, has been on the show. They're doing 2 and 3 at the same time. Has been on the project, the film, for 2.5 years. He is the head rigger / stunt coordinator. I've worked on it whenever he's been able to get me on rigging. The rigging that they're doing is unlike anything that's ever been done. And it's just, I cannot wait. It's so exciting. Kurt's on hiatus right now because they're in New Zealand. And just the detail and the depth that Cameron works. He has a dictionary for the language and the vocabulary for the people. I mean, he can fluently speak it, and he can translate it into English. So it's not just, you know, like blabber. I mean, it's actually a language that he created. That's the detail and the depth of and it's exciting. It's really exciting to be a part of a project like that. Mm-hmm. So with someone like Jim Cameron.
Exactly.
So,
when is this supposed to, the tentative release for
I think it's 2020. That's.
I just heard something. Yeah, it got pushed a year.
Yeah, they just.
I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised because Alita, Kurt was also the co-coordinator and head rigger on Alita, Battle Angel, and that they wrapped it in, I think, Kurt? How long was it in post? Year and a half.
We were still shooting a couple weeks before.
Yeah, they were still doing pickup shots a couple weeks before the release date.
Wow.
You know, I mean, but this is just the detail, and just it's. I can't tell you how exciting it is to be part of a project of that magnitude. When you work on one day, and this is what's so exciting, you guys. One day you'll be doing a car commercial. And then the next day you'll be doing a fight scene in a TV show.
Exactly.
And then the next day you'll be doing a really ultra low budget, you know, something. And then you work on Avatar. It's like, God, I'm so lucky. You know, I mean, it's really exciting. This business is the best. It really is. Even though Kurt and I have a joke that when you say wrap, you're unemployed again for the rest of your life. And we don't have agents and you still have your mortgage. Yeah, I mean, seriously. And it takes a good 5 years, especially on our end as performers, to get your name established, to really have a sense of some form of security. Because there's nothing scarier than when you go 3 months without a job, and and the residuals have been so deflated because of just the way that our contract formula is now, and just the way that the new media and how the business has changed. And you still have that mortgage payment or your rent payment first of every month, and it's just like, okay, Cheerios again for dinner. Ramen's the best, FYI.
Ramen, coffee, and pizza is what I lived on. Rolling college.
My college,
right?
it was cheese quesadillas and cream of wheat. That was it. Protein, bread, I got my.
But exactly what you're saying, just to go back, as I think a lot of us also as instructors here also try to instill in the students, is that it is a journey, that there's just take on various opportunities because you just don't know where that is going to lead to. And you can be doing one high profile thing one day and the next day, and that's okay. It's your creativity. Right?
And and I'll tell you, asked if there was that aha moment. I have to tell you, because I'm the daughter of a Polish immigrant. I grew up in the Valley, youngest of 9. My dad was a precision machinist. I come from very humble beginnings, and I don't think that I'm anything special or anything like that, because I'm not. But I have to tell you, when I was elected 4 years ago to both the Secretary Treasurer and the LA, that's never been done before. Plus, those positions have never been held by someone that wasn't a celebrity. And it's very humbling for me that, wow, okay, God, and I don't know, but I'm religious, is God has a place for me. And He has a mission for me right now at this moment in my life.
Absolutely.
To achieve something. And never in a million years if you would have said, yeah, you were going to be the only president of SAG-AFTRA, I'm like, shut up. Yeah, sure, right. No. I want to go skiing. I want to go, play some golf. No. But I believe that I'm on this journey for a reason, and it's to help as many people as I possibly can, because I believe that is what this job is. It's not the high profile things, and it's not the, it's doing what I can do in my capacity to help as many members. And who's to say what is going to come next? I believe this is preparing me for my next part of my journey, because I got to tell you guys, next year when my son graduates from high school, I've been being a mom for 37 years. And all these people panic about empty nest. I'm just like going, okay, this was my education. It just has prepped me for what my next thing's going to be. So it is, and then I get to meet all these wonderful people, like all of you, and Donna, my friend, and it's a venture, and it's a journey, and it's all of us helping each other out.
Exactly.
With our projects, and with our problems, and with our solutions.
But that's what the thing is with, as I said, by being active, and I keep telling students also again, and I keep going back and forth, because in some of my classes, I tell them it's all about networking. And it's also about getting involved with organizations. We just met a SAG member who said he was an active member, which I'm not going to mention any names. And this individual is a member, but I don't know if they're really active. An active member means you have to be there. You have to be voting. You have to get on committees. And even when I tell you, join Film Independent, join the Television Academy, but don't just be a member, be an active member, join committees, make a difference. That's how you're going to get noticed. Because how we all came together is that I was a Women in Film member, and then I started doing makeup for all the award shows, met a lot of amazing people, ended up becoming a chair of their committee, ended up being a speaker series chair, and I had every studio president, every celebrity in my seat for 4.5 years.
Right.
But because I also believed in the mission of women in entertainment, supporting women in diversity, and in directors and actors and all kinds of things, but you have to be an active participant, not just along for the ride. And so that's what we're trailblazing and doing things, and I love surrounding myself with people, and a lot of a lot of the instructors I know specifically in our department as well, kudos to our department, yay! who are constantly, we're always doing things and supporting each other and lifting each other
Right.
up, and that's what networking is all about, which kind of transitions us to how this becomes a part of you now, which is what we're going to go
Exactly.
into, that we're very excited about what to share with you.
And you're only one conversation away
Absolutely.
from the thing that could change your life. It's so important. And the other thing is just kindness. Just be kind. Be kind. It's especially in today's society and everything. Be open-minded, be kind, and just, be open just to have those conversations, because I tell you, one conversation could be the change of you being
Absolutely.
this or this. So, okay.
Absolutely. Just like, okay.
There we go. Back on track.
We're going to transition. Listen, says, I want to talk a little bit about, we talk about the Screen Actors Guild. I want to clarify, SAG-AFTRA. I want to clarify a little bit that it's not just actors, it's performers. So those of you that are singers, dancers, stunt performers, I want to talk a little bit about that, where I think some people don't realize that if they're not part of the union, that you're also part of that when we start talking about
So
that.
basically, since we merged, we represent all performers that are in front of the camera and behind the mic. That also includes, it's the singers, dancers, background performers, stand-ins, broadcasters. Stand-ins. Yes.
Stand up like comedians do.
No. Yeah, we cover them
Okay, 'cause we have
also.
some in here too.
But basically the performers that stand in while they're
Absolutely.
blocking the scene, we covered them also. We cover hip hop artists, we sound recordings, performance capture. I mean, pretty much if you're in front of the camera or if you're doing anything behind the mic or being recorded, you're covered. And we have 41 different contracts to work with any production out there, so that you can become signatory, so that instead of calling your neighbor Bob to work on your project, you can hire a professional SAG-AFTRA performer to work on your project. And it doesn't matter what your budget is, it doesn't matter what you're doing. And I'm really excited to let all of you guys know.
That's what I want to lead into.
Yes. Okay, so all right, so that's a perfect flawless segue.
Specifically for all of you.
Yes, in January, the union implemented 3 new contracts. 2 of them are for student films that are amazing. So you can do your student film signatory, and you can defer the payment to the professional SAG-AFTRA. You can do the agreement with them. You can pay them $1, you can pay them $10, or you can just defer the payment then on the back end. Because we have a lot of high-profile performers that want to, for example, one actor, famous actor, wanted to do a student film. This is years ago. And he couldn't do it, so he quit the union. And it was just like, no, you can't do that. So hence, thank God, since the merger, he automatically became a member again. And, I had a conversation. He goes, well, I was so pissed off that I couldn't do this student film because I wanted to help. So we resolved that by we provide these 2 different student films. And then another caveat for that is that if you have someone that is non-union working on this, if they work on 3 different projects, they get a voucher each time. So that's the caveat, is that if you're non-union but you're working on the signatory, it's just like background performers, you get a waiver, or you get a voucher. After this person gets 3 vouchers from these projects, it has to be all of these, those out of those 2, they're eligible to join the union. Okay?
Is that awesome?
Then our 3rd agreement is a small project agreement, also known as the SPA agreement. And that is that if you have a project but it's not a student film, and you go signatory, same thing, use SAG-AFTRA performers, defer the payment, and you can do your project signatory. And here's a great story I have to share with that. Through Hollywood Stuntworks, I get an email from a writer, director, producer that wants to shoot a trailer that he can show to his investors for a film he wants to make. And I said, well, are you signatory? He goes, no. I said, I can't help you, because it was for a burn. Okay, now burns are like, I love burns. That's my thing I do now.
Explain what that is.
Yes.
When you light yourself on fire, okay? Or you have somebody else light you on fire.
I just want to explain, because I don't know if they thought it was, is that a technical
like
term?
cooking, ow, I
Right,
burned my,
so-
no.
Very technical.
Yes,
right?
yes, very deal. So anyway, so I told this guy, I was like going, if you go signatory, and it was awesome, and this is what I mean by the conversations and connecting the dots. He goes, well, I don't know what to do. I said, you know what? Let me call you and find out. Well, it so happened I had a meeting that day, and I walk into the room, and there's all the contract people sitting there. I'm going, hey, I got this project for a trailer. Do we have a contract for that? Jessica goes, yes, we do. I'm like, great. Give me the information. So I hooked her up to the guy. He went signatory. I was able to work on it. I was able to hire Kurt, my husband, because he doesn't get to play as much as because he's like one of the bosses now. So I was like, going, let's light you on fire. So, so then we had my son, who wants to be an actor, worked on it under the contract. He automatically is eligible to join the union. And I gotta tell you, the team that I had working that day were all professionals, and we do a lot of burns. Kurt and I do a ton of burns. This guy poured so much fuel on Kurt, where it was just dripping. Usually you do like kind
Don't
of a
try
V.
this at
Yeah,
home.
no. Well, I'm not telling you the secret ingredients, but you usually take a paintbrush and you do a V, and you do it like a little here, a little there, the fuel. This guy just dumped it. I mean, it was just dripping, and I had the torch because I was lighting them, and the fumes coming up, and I'm like going, okay, I'm gonna light them from here. I wonder if it's gonna get over to the other leg. I literally got this close, and it was just, it was awesome. And this kid, this young producer, filmmaker from South Carolina that just came to LA pursuing his dream, got this feature quality stunt for a spa agreement. And because he was signatory, we would not have been able to do it. So thank you, SAG-AFTRA, for having the opportunity for you guys to be able to shoot a quality thing. So, yeah.
What I want to lead into that is by now, so it's like, okay, great, we join the union, right? What are the benefits for those that are union versus not union? Because I'd love to get into some of that where, okay, so what if I join? I can't afford it, but there are payment plans.
Yes.
So there's no excuse.
Yes.
I know it's expensive, but there are payment plans.
Right.
But I want to share with them what some of the benefits are also for joining you.
There's multi-layers of the benefits. So I'm going to first off start that, yes, the SAG-AFTRA Federal Credit Union, if you tell them that you want to get a loan or whatever for your initiation, they have a fantastic payment program for you. So that right there is just to alleviate, because the initiation fee is expensive, but it is worth every single penny. Off of the top, what your benefits are, you're guaranteed a minimum wage. If you work on a television show or a feature, you are guaranteed $980 for an 8-hour day. You are guaranteed X amount of dollars for your overtime. You are guaranteed that if they go over before they give you your lunch, you get meal penalties. You are guaranteed residuals. You are guaranteed contributions to your pension and your health plan. You're guaranteed, after you make an X amount, health plan. That I have to tell you, as stunt performers, there was one year that Kurt and I, between the two of us, had like 4 surgeries. And I think it cost us $1,000, Our premium for our whole entire family is $342 a quarter. And that's full medical, dental, mental health, chiropractic, vision, hearing, everything. I mean, and that's for our whole family. And we can go to any doctor we want to.
PPO.
Yeah, which is awesome. So that's another benefit. Your pension. I know that you're all young and you're not thinking about that, but just imagine that when you come to retirement and you automatically are going to get $7,000 plus a month on top of your Social Security. That's not bad. And that's just what it is now. You guys are all still young, right? The other benefits are that you have, this is a lonely business. At least it was when I was up and coming. The community is developing more and it's getting more personable because you guys are way smarter than my generation and you network and you do like everything, where we like, okay, I can do this and I can do that. You guys don't do this. Is that we offer a community. LA, we have for $45 a year, the conservatory, where we offer classes from anything you can imagine. To self-taping, to table reads, to how to audition, how to take a good headshot, a commercial workshop. We have, when I first started as president, we had 280 events that year. Last year in 2018, we had 499. We have workshops of how you do your taxes with the new tax laws. And how you could, with all of your
There's
internet.
so many, because I
There's so many
attend
things.
so many of them.
We have a health fair for people that don't qualify for the medical, that we offer mammograms to.
Free.
Yeah, it's all free.
free.
That's just part of your membership, and.
And then you have which I think what's coming up, I think in the next few weeks, right, there's this whole day about mental health day, right?
That was yesterday.
That was yesterday.
Yesterday was, we had 3 panels on mental health. And one of them was a next gen mental health panel, which is, it's just, but this is LA, and I think just
very
because
active.
I'm a little, I get excited.
Well, you guys already get along, right?
Just like, it's like, we have 33 committees. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
Well, the thing is, that's
Yeah.
why being a member, and I said being an active member, because I'll be honest, I have friends of mine that are like, oh yeah, I belong to SAG, You belong to SAG, and you're doing more acting than I am doing, yet I am more active with
Right.
because you have to be active, and there's a lot of people, like, I didn't know that existed. Read your emails, even when I tell you, read your emails that you get from the school too, because there's a lot of information that you could be missing, and by joining a union, because I know I would get students as well as friends of mine saying, well, I'm SAG eligible, and people tell me that I should stay that way, because then I could do more work for non-union, but I can still, I'm like,
Well, here's a perfect example.
I'd love to address that.
There's
because
a
that's
perfect
always
example. Let's just look at the commercials, okay? Okay, say I get hired to work on a non-union Coca-Cola commercial. And instead of making what the rate is, which I think is $680 for commercials for an 8, they're gonna offer me $2,000 to shoot this Coca-Cola commercial non-union. And I'm like, what? $2,000? That's so awesome. Okay, but they work me a 12-hour day. I'm not going to get residuals. I get no pension and health contributions. And say 2 years down the road, and I join the union, and Mountain Dew, or when another company, the soda pop company, calls up and wants me to do the commercial, I cannot do it because Coca-Cola owns me for life. Mm-hmm. If I work on a SAG-AFTRA commercial, I'm guaranteed my minimum, I will get my overtime, I will get residuals, and the residuals are awesome, especially Class A, you guys. I mean, we're talking tens of thousands of dollars.
Class A is the nationals, right?
Right, that's the Class A. Okay, you get the contributions, you get all that, but they only can hold you to their product. Perfect example is our Verizon guy that is now doing, T-Mobile or AT&T or whatever, right? Brilliant marketing right there, but because he did the Verizon union, he now can do the competitors, where if he would have done the Verizon non-union, he never would have been able to do that. So that's just one of the interesting, plus, shooting commercials non-union just really kind of undercuts the whole entire industry, and it's a race to the bottom, and the quality, and if you're a union member and you work off the card, it's just, you get busted and you get brought up on charges and penalties and all that. So, but it's just, we're a union. What does a union mean? Brothers and sisters, protection, watching out for each other. And basically, my philosophy is what the union represents. It protects our members who are working, and they do that through negotiating the strong contracts with the minimums, enforcing those contracts so that production does not take advantage of all of you, and providing the safest sets. Because of all of the accidents that have been happening, and just everybody's rushing, and television production days went from 12 per episode down to 6. They're doing feature quality stunts where they used to, just do, I don't know if I'm dating myself, but just jumping off the building. It was like, wow. So yeah, that Bionic one, I don't know if you guys remember that one, but probably not. And then the other thing that a union should be doing is providing its members with the tools to get the work. Period. That's what unions are about. Being together, working with each other, hearing your voices, finding out what's going on out there that we can do to make it better for all of you.
And that's what we had a membership meeting about that the other day, where people, and that was for national, it was all of you were there.
No, that was the LA local annual membership meeting.
Yeah. And a lot of members were stepping up to the mic and saying, hey, I worked on this, I worked on that, and they all had very specific questions they were
Yes.
asking and trying to get answers to. So that's what this is about. I mean, it's
Exactly.
just being supportive. I want to, as you were talking about residuals, I want to transition a little bit into that. This was brought to my attention from some students as well, is there's so much going on now with new media. And I know by talking a lot with the chapter as well, there's a lot of gray when it comes to when it comes to streaming. Is what? And so I want to talk about a bit how that is different than per se something that's on TV or cable, and also what the stance on buyouts when you're talking about, because like for Netflix, they shoot all this, so you know, it is what it is. How does residuals work on something like a Netflix or an Amazon when you this is what it is for the season? So can we just talk a little bit about
I wish it was a little, it's so complicated because you have network television.
So it's great.
You have basic cable. You have pay for. You have streaming. Okay? We negotiate our TV theatrical contract with the AMPTP, which is NBC, ABC, CBS, Disney, Paramount, you know, all the top 8. Well, now it's going to be interesting because Disney consumed Fox. So now Fox isn't on the table, but Amazon just came to the table, which is going to be really interesting because Netflix won't come to the table.
Why
But
is that?
Netflix,
Why is that?
I have no idea. I don't work for Netflix. But I'll tell you, I would love to work at Netflix. I was at a meeting there last week, and they do it right. They're really an impressive company. But anyway, so back to it. So then you have streaming, and then you have AVOD and SVOD, and you have made for new media, and there's just all of these things. And then you have like AT&T and Verizon, and there's this compression coming down, and it's just an uncharted territory because the way that the contract is written right now, it's an old contract. It applies to network television. Barely, really, it dealt with cable, but now we're trying to figure out. I've been negotiating the contract for 5 cycles now. The first time I negotiated the contract, new media was not a word. Wasn't even there. And just to see the progression of just how the business has changed and trying to keep up with that in negotiations and figure it all out. And it's changing so fast because our contract is 3 years. So to try to right now, today, break it down and explain it all, I think you guys would walk away even just more confused, or if anything. But if there's anyone here that is a SAG-AFTRA member, do we see anybody? No, not yet. But we're starting our W&W process next week, which is the wages and working conditions process, where we discuss what the issues are that we think that we need to negotiate and address during our next contract negotiations.
Okay, that's
Yeah. So I'd love to see you there.
I will be there. We'll be 4 for 4 now.
There you go.
You can see we have no fun up here.
Yeah, no.
Another exciting area that I'm anxious to get in, that's really, I believe it's your initiative that comes to our military students. And it comes to our veterans as well as those that are also going into the military. So this is a wonderful initiative that I know that I think it's wonderful what you're doing, but I'd love for them to hear a little bit about your background, why that's so important to you.
Okay, I'm not going to call it my initiative because I never like to take personal ownership because it's always a group effort. It's like
That's great.
It takes a village. I could say I did all this stuff, but boy, that's I'm nothing without the people that I'm surrounded with.
That's wonderful.
Veterans is one of my number one things, and it's because my father was a World War II vet. 3 of my brothers served in Vietnam, and I currently have a son that's a Marine who is in Afghanistan for a tour. He's getting out in 44 days. So I'm so excited. Well, he's the one 4 years ago when I got elected, he just goes, and he's not crazy about my union service because he thinks that, what are you going to do to change it? You can't do anything, Mom. It's like, so I go, I'll show you wrong. So he goes, okay, you're elected, Mom, what are you going to do for the vets? I'm like, well, let's have a conversation. So we talked for about 2 hours, and I pointed out homelessness and suicide rates, and, trying to figure out why. What are the causes? Will these 18-year-old kids go in? They go straight from having their parents, being at home, having laundry done, food, the whole thing. They go into the military. They learn a fantastic job, whatever, their MOS
Absolutely,
is.
yeah.
They're fed, they're clothed, they're disciplined, and they get out 4 years later, and they have no idea how to survive in society whatsoever. So we were talking about that, my son and I figured, okay, how can we do this? How can we do this? And then I went to a Secretary-Treasurer meeting in DC for the AFL-CIO, and one of the reports that were given to us is that unions across the country are suffering. And they're suffering because baby boomers are retiring at a record rate every single day, and millennials aren't joining. Because a millennial will go through 3 different jobs from 20 to 30, aren't getting married. And you have to understand, really the birth of unions was, in like the 30s or whatnot. You get married out of high school, you start, your career as a union, you're a lifer, and that's it. Well, that's not the model anymore. Mm-hmm. So I run a lot. So I was running one day, and I thought to myself, how can we connect these dots? So I figured, why don't we have the Department of Defense and the AFL-CIO partner up, and in the discharge package, have union opportunities for our servicemen so that when they get out, they can figure out what they can do with what they've applied. They'll have someplace to land. They'll have that brotherhood and sisterhood of their union.
Great.
And at least instead of just being thrown out and being, not having anywhere to go. So this was about 2.5 years ago, and so of course this dream that I had that I presented to the AFL-CIO and whatnot, I thought, okay, I won't see this in my lifetime. They're going to be implementing it in 6 months. Which is really exciting, and then to take it one step further is that the head of the Veterans Council at the AFL-CIO in DC asked me to be the chair of the LA Union Veterans Council chapter here with the LA County Fed. So we just started meeting about 3 or 4, months ago, and we came up with an idea because there's 398 unions in the LA County Fed. Why don't we have a career fair down at Camp Pendleton?
Yeah.
So these servicemen
Right.
that are in, and what we're going to do is we're going to match their MOSs, which is basically their job, with a list of unions that they possibly could get hired in when they get out. And we're approaching them a year or 2 before they even think about getting out. So this way they can start coming up with a career plan. So and then we've restructured the whole military committee at
What about
at
those
SAG-AFTRA?
what about those that are also out now? What
yeah,
are, like,
well,
some of the
yeah,
projects
come
that
on
they're
down.
doing?
Come on down. I mean, VME, SAG-AFTRA has partnered up with VME, which is the Veterans in Media and Entertainment. Amazing program. Amazing. If there's any vets, I would love to partner up with vets here,
Absolutely.
with them and myself, and let's have a conversation about things that we can do, opportunities, maybe a job fair, maybe a film festival, maybe who knows. I mean, this is anything that you guys want to do with this is yours. I'm just kind of connecting the dots.
That's
It's all about
great.
connecting dots. I'm discovering.
And they've worked on some of them. I know a lot of worked on Hawaii 5-0. Was like some. Of
Oh
them,
my
or,
gosh.
Like some of the projects because you use your skill sets, and a lot of times that. Some people they don't know what they're
Right.
doing, but you guys know what you're doing. But just
Well,
list some of the things
here's
that
the
they're
opportunity.
doing.
We had a panel recently, and it was with SEAL Team, Hawaii 5-0, Magnum PI, and MacGyver. And the thing that's great about all of them, the producers are all veterans. And they go out of their way, not only to cast the soldiers, or the stunt people, because SEAL Team, my girlfriend Julie Michaels and her husband Pee Wee Palante, they only cast veterans for stunts. That's it. I think they had 260 man days last year in the second season, which is fantastic. But these producers, especially at CBS, want to hire veteran grips, want to hire veteran cameramen, want to hire veteran crew. I mean, they just...
CBS is very strong.
CB
They have internships specifically
Yes,
for
which
veterans,
is,
too.
so let's connect you with them for the opportunities. And VME also is a great resource. So that's something that we can have a conversation another day about this, but it's exciting. Just the awareness of it.
Well, that's the thing where we're saying open to the journey. Before today, you might have been like, okay, I'm just a hip hop artist. I want to do this. Or I want to be, well, wow. I could be a stunt performer now too. I could do, so that's what, when you're talking about
Right.
awareness, that's why I keep telling you, be open to the journey, because now it's like, well, wait a second. I can do something else in my journey now
Right.
with my current skill sets that I'm always instilling, is use your current skill sets. You'll be surprised how that could really benefit what you're doing.
Yeah, and never
Absolutely.
stop growing those skill sets. You
Eternal
know?
student, be eternal student.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, never stop learning how to, you know, and especially if there's that stuff they call the bucket list. Yeah, I'm like going, hey, you know, I always wanted to do that. You know, today, go do it. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to now throw this out to everyone in this room here. Okay, so I want to throw it out to you guys now as to some questions you might have for Jane, which I'm sure there should be many of there. And some of you over on this side, I'm blinded by the
Yeah.
light, so we can't see over there, so.
Yeah, I know, and I'm
need
sorry, I
someone to
apologize
help
to you
me.
guys over here because
Yes.
that's really bright.
Right, we have a question over here? Yes.
Yeah, you just mentioned that a conversation may change your life forever. So I was wondering, what was the conversation that changed like your life?
When I met my husband, shook his hand and said, "Nice to meet you, please don't kill me." Literally, that's the first thing I said to him. But that, all kidding aside, gosh, you know what? There's just been so many things, because I have so many different levels, plateaus of how I got to where I am. So there could be a moment. You know, I guess my union service, when I was on the Stunt and Safety Committee meeting. I was the president of Stuntwomen's Association at that time. And we had just reestablished, this is one gal, had reestablished the Stunt and Safety Committee, and she took the president of all the stunt groups. And we're sitting there, and it was like after, you know, our sixth meeting or something, and I'm just kind of getting to know this whole union committee thing. And she goes, you know, and all of you should consider running for the board. And I guess this is the conversation. And I turned to her like going, yeah, Gretchen? I was like, what's the commitment? She goes, it's only 4 meetings a year. You know, you got 4 national meetings a year. I'm like, I guess I could do that. Okay, so I ran. I won, not a 2-year term, a 4-year term. And being the only stunt person for like a decade on the board, I was on every single committee representing the stunt community. And it just kind of turned my life around. And then it was because of that conversation, I'm here where I am. So, yeah.
That's great.
So, thank you. Ignorant. It was ignorant.
In the corner back there, yep.
How for certain is the jobs when you're unionized? How for certain are like getting jobs there?
You know, it's funny because our 17-year-old decided finally, after years of me saying, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're going to make a decision. You're a junior. It's that time. Come on, think about it. And when he finished doing Taming of the Shrew last year, and he goes, Mom, I want to be an actor. I'm like, no. And yes, and then they did Tale of Two Cities in the fall, and he got both leads, and he did such a good job. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, but you have to have a second minor. That's a STEM class. No, I was just like, you just have a backup. I told him it's more work to get work than it is to do the work. It's more work to get the work than to do the work. And that doesn't, you know, the training as a stunt performer, the training as an actor, the training in any aspect of production. And I gotta tell you, I'm gonna repeat again, plan on spending 5 years working harder than you're ever going to work in your whole entire life, because it's not just the jobs, it's building the relationships.
Absolutely.
Making the connections, having the conversation, showing your work ethic, building your reputation, being creative, being a team member. You know, I can't tell you, you know, the union cannot guarantee you a job. We're not a hiring hall. But what we can do, and what I've been working on, especially in LA, is providing the tools. Offering the panels, the workshops, the opportunities for the members to meet each other, to get each other. Because all of you guys are not just a writer anymore, or a director, or a producer, or, you know, a camera person. You're all of it. And some of you also are the actors. So build those relationships, because you guys are the future James Cameron. One of you guys could be sitting in this room right now. So just, you know, but count on just, you know, working, busting your butt for 5 years. Did that answer it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeremy.
Jeremy, hi. I see your
Oh my
hand.
gosh, you're just like, oh.
I've been told my personality. That. So, I'm actually in Miss Lloyd's class right now, and quite often for these past few days, she's been saying, "Enjoy the journey, be open to the journey." That's kind of frightening as someone who's, I'll be 30 this year. I was in the military before for 8 years. When I was getting out, we go through this thing called Soldier for Life is the nickname of it.
Yep.
But one of the things I kept asking, are there any jobs or any workshops that you guys would offer for performers? They didn't have anything. So it's great to hear that you're doing this now. But for about 2 years, I spent my life trying to figure out what it is I want to do. I know I love music. And I felt like I was open to that journey, and nothing came. So I guess it's kind of like, kind of along the lines of what he said. What is it that joining SAG, what can they guarantee me or really offer me to let me know that, okay, yes, I should be open to this journey, but it's not going to deviate me from what I really love? Because I don't mind being a cameraman, but if that's not the career that I want,
Right.
why should I just because, the opportunity, not to say I want to close the door to it, but do you understand what I'm asking?
I know exactly what you're
Okay.
saying. And first off, I'd like to say thank you for your service.
It was my
Yes,
pleasure.
thank you for your service. And then just out of curiosity, what branch?
I was Army.
Okay, so that's okay. My son's a Marine. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
No apologies, because you're all down in Pendleton, right? If your passion, first off, I want to say before I answer your question, you have to be fearless. Be fearless in life with everything. You cannot be afraid. Because I got to tell you, there's so many times I'm afraid. I'll never forget the first time I had to get up and give a speech. My career, I've had to hide my face and not say a word. And when I got elected, I had to go up there and give my first speech. I was like, what? I got to talk in this job? What are you talking about? As you can tell today, I'm kind of, I got a little more comfortable. What can I say? A quick word. So anyways, what I would do is that if music, first off, be fearless. And if somebody says no to you, say, well, why? But be nice and respectful. Just say why. And then you go back and you find the work through that, and then you come back and you say, okay, this is what, and if they say no again, politely say, why? That happened to me for 3 years to get the stunt category added to the SAG Awards. Took me 3 years.
Wow.
But I, didn't give up. And I was, and jumped through, I can't even tell you how many hoops. But anyways, but if music is your passion, figure out how can that's my goal. That's my passion. I want to be a musician. All right? I wouldn't start with SAG-AFTRA. I would start with the Musicians Union, who I actually am very good friends with the president, so let's talk afterwards. Okay? And see, and that's just it. You've got to know where to start. If you need to be a cameraman to achieve that goal, but you know what? Maybe everything that you're trying over here to become that musician isn't what you're supposed to be doing. It's over here, but you still have to be a cameraman here, but you're just not putting yourself in a position to expose yourself
Exactly.
to be a musician. And so that's why we have conversations like this where, oh my gosh, I just happen to know who you need
And
to
you
talk
never
to
know.
that will have a conversation with you and give you some guidance, because he's a sweetheart. So there
as
you
you're saying,
go.
and you never
A
know.
conversation can change your life.
And where those opportunities are
Yep.
going to go, just by saying, oh well, she's a SAG-AFTRA president, she doesn't know anything. You don't know who that person knows. I always tell everyone you're 1 degree of separation from one person, and it's like what I was saying earlier. Why I keep telling everyone who comes through my doors, join these certain organizations that you can as student members. And I will be honest with you, no matter how many times I will say that, by the time they get me for my second class, only 2% maybe have done that.
Right.
Okay, and then you're complaining why things are, well, because we're trying to give you those opportunities to join these organizations. What you're saying is you got to put yourself in that bubble. You're in
Right.
that union, so this way you're alike with people, and those
Right.
opportunities are more to be there.
Right. But that 2%, they're doing the work.
Exactly. Oh yeah.
They're doing the work. You
Absolutely.
cannot just sit in this business and expect it to come to you. You have got to do the work. You cannot just, go to auditions and just go, oh God, I never get hired. Okay, well, figure out, maybe why am I not getting the audition? Maybe why am I not getting it? Don't blame, don't point fingers. I love, my husband says this. When you point a finger at somebody, you've got 3 pointing back at you. Sure. We usually say that during fights.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
And then we have the gal behind him.
Okay. You start
Okay.
picking because you can see better than I can.
Go
This
ahead.
might be a personal question. So
Isaac.
Husband's in the room.
Yeah.
But you mentioned earlier just about faith and spirituality,
Yes.
stuff like that. I feel like for me that's very important, and especially the kind of stigma that this industry has in relation to that. I was just wondering if you could speak a little more to that in terms of like how you've navigated in your personal journey, reaching the levels that you have.
I'll tell you. Okay, first off, I'm a Catholic, so was raised very strict Catholic. I'm a modern Catholic, so which means that I find God where I find God. I believe that He works in mysterious ways. I believe that if you're a good person, good things will come to you. I believe that if you're kind to others around you, that's working in His Spirit. I do not believe that I need to announce that on a set or in a meeting, and it's rare that I do bring it up at all. It just kind of, for some reason, it felt applicable to say that today, hence why maybe, we're having this conversation right now. But you know what? It's okay. If that's really a big part of your life and stuff, don't be afraid to, just don't preach it, and what's appropriate and what's not. But I work with a lot of people that are religious, but you just respect each other, and if you don't throw it in anybody's face and you just say, like for example, I had a conversation with a girlfriend that's a stunt coordinator the other day, and her mom's sick, and I said, hey, you're on my prayer list for the morning. She just said, thank you so much. And that was it. So, but you keep it in, or you don't. So, but hopefully, I think people are being more gracious these days and being more acceptable and not as judgmental. So, but you'll know with the people
When it
that you
feels
surround
right.
yourself
When it feels
with.
right.
So, But if anybody does judge you on it, just Yes.
I'm also a military veteran, Marine Corps performer, and also producer. So thank you for everything that you're doing for the veterans community. But also from a producer standpoint, I'm working on a short film. I'm looking for child talent.
Okay.
And it was actually kind of difficult, and I got a couple of non-union submissions. But should I be looking to SAG for child talent? And what does the union look like for child talent?
The union doesn't provide talent.
Okay.
We protect talent. All right. So what you would be doing is, I'm sure you could. Let's see, who could we connect you with? We have a young performers committee. But like I said, we don't provide talent. We just protect. So let me think on that. Let me get your contact information and think on that. What are you looking for?
A young actor. I opened it up, but perfect case scenario, a young 8 to 10 African American British actor. And
Okay.
I reached out to CESD and Osbrink so far.
Okay.
So agents, but I did let them know that I was a student filmmaker.
Are you
and I
going to go signatory?
Yes. Yes.
Then your world just opened up a
Okay.
ton. So that now you can now draw from that union talent pool, and you can go to the agencies that have union kids, and you can hire them.
I have a phone call with Jessica at 1.
Jessica's the best.
Yes.
Jessica Johnson, you guys, for any of your student film stuff, Jessica Johnson. She just got promoted to this position. She is a rock star. So good. That's yay, fantastic. Yay. I love it.
I'll let you pick. There's
Is
one
there-
in the back and the jacket.
Okay, one way in the back, and then the middle.
Just a history person. What year did SAG get created, and what was the spark that created it?
Okay. It was, I'm gonna hopefully get this right, but I know we had our 75th anniversary a couple years back. What happened is that all the big studios like Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer would have these actors and put them on contract. And the conditions, they owned them, basically. Curtin, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this. They owned these actors, and the working conditions were horrible. They worked them to death. They didn't give them turnarounds. That's another thing on our contract. You get a guaranteed 12-hour turnaround, or they have to give you a forced call, which they have to pay you a day. So, I mean, they didn't get meals. They didn't get all the provisions that we have, and it was horrible. So a group of performers, Ralph Morgan, Jimmy Cagney, the founders, I don't remember all of their names, would get together and meet to try to organize and to say, hey, if we're united, we'll organize and just say, hey, let's form a union so that they're going to have to follow these terms so they won't take advantage of us. Well, here's a fun fact that a lot of people don't know. Well, the studios found out about this and tried to put thugs into, like, either not let them go in the house or when they came out. So what the founders did is they got in touch with the stunt guys. Now, the stunt guys have these ranches out in, like, the boons that, and so they'd have their meetings at the stunt performers' ranches, and the stunt performers would be outside being security. So the exchange was that, well, listen, if we protect you while you're negotiating, you have to cover us. So that's how that whole thing happened. But yeah, so ultimately they put enough pressure on the productions for them to go union, and that was the birth. And our very first president was Ralph Morgan. So, and I hope I'm sure I missed some details, but that's the overall.
Yeah, because back in the day, like the Marilyn Monroes and all of them, they were all under like a 5 contract under a particular studio.
Yeah, they had to do 5 movies under this contract, and the conditions
whether they
were
liked
horrible.
it or not.
But do you know what I would love to do if you're really, really interested? I would love to hook you up with our historian. Her name is Valerie. And she will just, oh my gosh, she's got an office just full of pictures and just information for not only SAG, but AFTRA also. So like, if you would like to meet with her, just give me your information and I'll pass it on. Okay, great. Gentlemen.
Yes. Ms. Austin, Mrs. Lloyd, thank you very much for this awesome presentation. It's very informative. My name is Scott Walden. I am a business student here at the school. My projection is to become a producer.
Yay!
So, well, I've been here.
He's
I
been
have
active.
produced 2 short films, 2 documentaries, and a commercial. My question to you is, I have been using student actors. How can I, as a producer, get vouchers and say they have worked on my stuff? Do I have to be signatory first?
You have to be signatory to
Okay,
be able
okay.
to give the vouchers. So, but I'm sure you didn't know about any of this before.
Sorry.
So don't worry about it. You didn't know any about this before, which is fine, but now you know. And so Donna
Okay.
will get Jessica's contact information too, so that you can get in touch with Jessica at the union.
Okay.
And if you ever need a stunt coordinator, I'm just saying.
Of course we do.
I'm just saying.
We have a script that we're working on. As a
And there's
matter of fact, this is my act.
Yeah,
there's other SAG actors here too.
I understand.
So, but yeah, no, I mean, it's just, and that's what we did, is that we saw that there was this need and understanding and trying to keep up with all of the changes and the way filmmaking is changing, and to just, I mean, we're a family that's working together, and like I said, you guys are the future, and we're not quite the dinosaurs yet.
There's some great students. Great.
Yeah, so that I know that I'm so, and I'm gonna be really honest with you guys. When Donna asked me to do this, I just thought I was gonna be in front of students, and I just wanted to throw on my jeans or whatnot. But I have to go to a funeral after this, so that's why I'm like kind of. And when I walked in, I was just like, oh.
I don't do anything.
This is
like
kind
that.
of like big. so I'm really, really excited and pleased to be here today. So thank you for having me.
Well,
Thank
Do you offer opportunities for people who aren't a part of the union to maybe volunteer at like SAG Awards or any other events that SAG offers?
I am not quite sure how they work the volunteers at the SAG Awards. I know that there's a lot of staff that come in and work as volunteers just because it is such a large event. I do know that it's coming up to intern season, and we do have interns in the summertime that work in all the different departments. I know that the Los Angeles local has a really great intern program.
Sweet.
So, yeah, and communications, they have a lot of interns that come in. So, yeah, I would inquire. Yeah, no worries. Okay, in the back?
One of the issues I have as an international student is that there's limitations with work. Does SAG offer any sort of membership option if you're an international student? Because it's kind of ironic as an entertainment business student, you know, this whole thing of, you know, you need to go out and get work with. My visa doesn't allow me to work. I sort of feel that I'm a little bit limited after the 3 years.
Right.
I'm going to go back to the UK and it's like, well, I've spent 3 years in LA, but I've not really been able to get opportunity because my networking has kind of been limited because I can't get paid work. You see what I mean?
Right.
So does SAG offer anything for...
Okay, you're in a catch-22 there. So you guys, anybody that has a student film under the new agreements, vouchers over here. In actuality, we don't have a student membership per se. You have your regular membership. Yeah. I know that there are a lot of ACTRA, which is the Canadian Union, members that are also SAG-AFTRA members. I know that there are a lot of UK Equity members that are also SAG-AFTRA members. And basically what it is just becoming eligible. And then you can join the union.
Because you worked on a U.S. project, that's why she's trying to say, if back there, if you're working on the student films and you get that, then you can.
Right, that's my understanding of it, just from what my, that's my understanding of it. I think you're absolutely right with that. And then also is that SAG-AFTRA, we're a global union. We're not just Los Angeles, where ACTRA is in Canada, UK is in, Australia has their union. We're global. And our members work all around the world. We have members all around the world. I know we have a lot of members in Australia, especially from Mad Max, from that stunt ensemble. A lot of them joined SAG-AFTRA. So, so I'm not quite sure, but if you want to give me your information, maybe we can go offline.
I'd appreciate that.
Okay, that'd be great. In yellow,
yes.
I think.
Hi, I'm Dale. You probably can't see me back here.
The yellow worked.
Yes. You did talk about how the new media age has affected SAG-AFTRA and residuals and all those contracts that are usually simply negotiated. It's also affected the climate of the advertising industry.
Yes.
And how has that advertising industry now affected SAG-AFTRA? Because now you have global and national campaigns that are run online and digitally. Are they held with the same validity as a Class A that would get those type of residuals?
I am so happy that you asked that because
it's just going on now.
Yes, this morning it was announced that we ratified our new commercials contract. And that's what the case was, is that the old models of payment and production for commercials was not fitting in with the new media model. And so what we have done, we completely negotiated this contract so different that it does take into consideration these new platforms and these new ways. And there's 3 different options so that the production is not just locked in to what was traditionally the payment plan. So now there's 3 different options depending on what your commercial is, where it's being shown, if it's streamed, etc. So they really closed that loophole, and it's a very innovative concept compared to anything that we've done in the past. And I'm really pleased because I think it's going to resolve a lot of the problems that, well, we have to shoot this non-union because it's just going to break our budget. We just can't do it because we're showing it here when we have this formula that you want us to pay. So this contract really addresses that, and I'm hoping that, going forward, we're going to take this example and really be able to use it so that our other contracts will be more effective with what media is today. So
we'll take a few more questions and then.
I can't see anything.
Hi, I'm in the entertainment business program, and I ultimately want to do A&R, and I just wanted to know what and how is the best way to network for that.
Okay, first off, excuse me, but what's A&R?
Artist and repertoire. It's like
music.
the liaison between the label and the artist.
Okay,
Yeah.
that,
I probably would be in the music, the guild that you.
yeah, that would be sound recordings department. We just hired someone new there. I'm not sure who she is, because our new singers, I know who our new singer rep is, but sound recordings is a different department. What I would do is outreach to the sound recordings department at SAG-AFTRA, and they would give you guidance. Okay? I hope that helped. I'm not, I don't sing.
Back there. Yeah.
Was there any time like during your journey, like for example, like you said, the 3 years that it took you to get to accomplish something? Was there any time that you felt like not giving up, but just had a milestone where
It was hard.
Oh yeah, oh my gosh, you guys
Lots
have
of heart.
3 kids and you haven't worked in 3 months, and you've got to, we had peanut butter and jelly and macaroni and cheese a lot during that time, and especially I was going through a really difficult divorce, and it just kind of, my whole world was upside down, and right when I was just like, prayed, and I was just like going, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? The phone would ring. The phone would ring, and it's a connection that I'd made, and it's like, hey, Jane, you available? And it was just like, it just seemed like, and I'm very, very proud, because my husband and I, Kurt and I, have worked so hard for where we are in our careers. Not once in the 33 years that we've been in the business have we had to do another job other than a SAG-AFTRA contract. Or a SAG or an AFTRA contract. But yeah, no, you just have to, and that's just it, is that, you just keep on making the phone calls. Right now, kids today, stunt performers, have it a little bit easier than we did when we started out, because there's all these great gyms and facilities and martial arts places that they work out at, where a person, I met a girl just a couple years ago, this is a great story, met her at a panel, diversity panel. There was a stunt performer on the panel, and the girl goes, hey, how can I become a stunt performer? And the answer was given. So afterwards, I went up to the girl, and I was like going, that's not exactly how I would do it, but this is what I would do. So I gave her some advice: go to the gym, show your work ethic. She goes, well, I'm not really good at fighting. I said, it doesn't matter. Just go, learn, show them that you work hard, show them you're a team player, show them that you're positive, whatever. Saw her at the Taurus Awards, which is the stunt awards that we do with Red Bull. And all of a sudden, she's this little black gal, and there's not a lot of stunt women of color at all. And she comes running up to me and gives me a hug. She's like, oh my gosh, Jane. I'm like, what? She goes, I got a job on X-Men, Doubling Storm. And it was so funny because Kurt worked with her. And then she goes, and then after that, I get a call if I could want to shave my head to work on Black Panther. So she was one of the guards, you guys. So then, what happened at the SAG Awards this year? She won 2 SAG Awards for Stunt Ensemble. And she took me out to dinner, and she was adorable, because she goes, yeah, I wasn't very good at fighting, but they taught me and they helped me, and and they needed a double for Storm, and she was there. She had been working hard, and but so today, you guys, what is it that you want to do? Find where your peers, find where you can go to network, find where the people that are hiring are. And the first year when Kurt started teaching me how to rig, I went to work for free, because no one was going to hire me to rig if I didn't know how to rig. So I just showed up, and everything was called a thing. There was a black thing and the
You're
crank
better than
thing.
me, because I'm a thingy.
The clip thing.
Where's the thingy?
It was just like, and that rope thing, it was like, and then it, Tom was like, oh yeah, that's a span set. That's a come along, So anyways, and then after that, then I was able to get hired. But, I also was working too, and every chance I had that I could go. But that's just it, is that, it's more work to get the work than it is to work. So, Did that help at all?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
We'll have to kind of
Okay.
end it here. But
Fantastic.
well, if you have some questions, we'll be here for a few
You
minutes
can get in
after,
touch
so-
with me through Donna. I am available. There's not been a question, an email, or phone call I've not returned. Because, you know, I'm blessed to be in this position to be
And
able
I'm
to
blessed to
help.
have you here today.
Thank you so much. So this was great. I enjoyed this.
So thank you
so much.
everyone. And
Yeah.
if they have something to ask you while you're still here, that are
Absolutely, that's great.
Okay,
Yeah.
so thank
So
you
I'll be
guys.
around
Thank
for
you
a
so
little
much.
bit. Thank you.